Welcome to the Sports Bros Podcast, featuring the Almighty B-Live, the Money Man, Scottie D, and your host, the head of creative, Eddy Kool. And without any further ado, here they are, the Sports Bros. Hey, what's going on, world? This be your boy, Eddy Kool, a.k.a. the HOC, and this is episode 57, 57, Heinz 57, if you like your spices and sauces, of the Sports Bros Podcast. I'm hyped. I'm feeling good. Draft, Bulls, loaded choices of the voices, but you know I am not doing this by myself. I got the best co-hosts in the world. Two of them, dos, el co-hostos, however you want to say it. I don't want to be like Jerry Lawler and say offensive stuff. Don't want to do that. We got the Almighty B-Live.
What's happening? What's going on in the world today? And Eddy Kool, you a fool. You a fool. I almost lost when you mentioned Jerry the King Lawler. Oh boy. What did he say? The ramen noodles?
Yeah, the ramen noodle moonsault when it was clearly a senton. Go home, Jerry. Go home. Go home. How in the hell you get a moonsault out of a senton? I've been watching wrestling for 25 years.
Oh, okay? Boy, I fell out when he said, I said, oh my goodness, they about to eat him alive. But that's not what we're here for. It's not what we're here for.
Nope.
But yeah, let's talk to the MVP of the Sports Bros podcast. That old guy that we got on the team. You can introduce him now. I'm cool with it.
Oh, the Money Man, Scottie D.
The MVP, I like that. Unfortunately, this past weekend, I watched the whole NFL draft, and my name did not get called. So I'm still back here with you guys. I came up short. My dreams were dashed once again of being picked by an NFL team. But hey, let's talk about that draft, guys. Let's get into that. That was a lot of fun this past weekend, huh?
I'm going to say that probably the reason why you didn't get picked was the 40 time. Your 40 time was abysmal. Like I've never seen anything.
You said 40 time. I thought you meant my age. 47. That's far away. That is my 40 time. 47.
That might have been a fact.
I think that was it.
47 seconds.
47 seconds. All right.
Ooh.
Are he's halfway here. Come on. Oh, Lord. Somebody pick him up. He's about to fall out. You know, my 40 time probably stinks too while I'm over here laughing.
You're right.
Shape, eating up every damn thing, during Rona Mania 2020. Put on a t-shirt.
Swear for the Lord. But who is it? Rich Eisen, isn't he the one that runs like the 40 every year, like in his suit or whatnot?
Yeah.
Oh,
I think he does, yeah.
Yeah, that's funny to me. But Eddy Kool, do your thing, Amtrak the thing, let's get it.
Already the perfect segue, running 40 times. You know what? Draft night. It was a 3-day extravaganza, if you will. Well, actually a 2-night and 1-day extravaganza. That last day was forever and a day. We're talking about the NFL Draft 2020, but it was a little different this year. Of course, you know, we got, like I said, Rona Mania 2020, taking over everything and altering everything. No large gatherings. Some states trying to open up, people protesting, but we're not about to talk about that. We're here to talk about sports. And fellas, the draft, it came, we saw, and it was, I think personally, it was great. It was great. So let's see, round one, ain't no surprise. Joe Burrow, number 1. Chase Young, number 2, and then everybody else fall as they may. So we're going to mention right fast. Tua went 5th to the Dolphins. Justin Herbert went 6th to the Chargers. Derek Brown, as expected in the mock drafts, went 7th to the Panthers. Isaiah Simmons went all the way to 8th to the Cardinals. And Mekhi Becton, the offensive tackle from Louisville, he went 11th to the Jets. Henry Ruggs, the 3rd, he went 12th to the Raiders. Javon Kinlaw, 14th to the 49ers. And Jerry Jeudy, 15th to the Denver Broncos. Fellas, I looked at the Denver Broncos draft, man. I think they may be doing some copycatting in the AFC West. it might be about speed this year. What do you guys think of the overall draft?
Let me say before we get into actually the players, we briefly talked about this before we got started here on our own, but I thought the draft was pretty well done. I was really looking forward to it because we obviously have not seen anything current in the world of sports for quite some time. And the NFL just kind of made it feel like business as usual. You know, they didn't obviously get affected by missing any games because their season was done before this started. And their draft went on as scheduled, and at least time-wise. But I thought, you know, it didn't come off as glitchy, or it was, I thought, very pleasant the way that they did it. You know, bouncing around from the, you know, with the Zoom type of technology, going from coach to coach and GM to GM, and seeing them at home with their families, seeing the potential picks with their families. I thought all that was pretty cool. The one thing I will say, Roger Goodell, who I have deep disdain for, you know, many times in the past I've criticized him. He was trying to, I felt like he was trying to humanize himself a little bit. He was trying to be funny and engaging and eating M&Ms and all that. And it kind of made me feel like when you're in school and you really, really hate a teacher who's really mean and gives you bad assignments and bad grades, tries to be fun and cool when you go on a field trip and everyone hates him anyway. Or like the boss that you hate that tries to be fun and cool at a party after work. I still hate Roger Goodell. That didn't do it for me. I saw right through his charade. He still suspended Zeke without him getting arrested. So I have no love for Roger Goodell. So I'll just start with that. Be live. Let me hear what you got to say, brother.
Roger Goodell is the head knucklehead in charge. So you mean to tell me, Scottie D? Even I'm personally mad because you didn't get to see that McAllen 24. I know he got that whiskey sitting back there, that McAllen 24.
Yeah, he had something. He had to do something to keep himself going. He was nipping on something, I'm sure.
Yeah, but he destroyed a whole canister of doggone of M&Ms. We should have took a prop bet on that, man.
Right.
All right, B-Live, over to you.
Man, I like to say, I unlike the money man, because you could tell he has a deep disdain for Roger Goodell. Me, on the other hand, I just have a disdain for Roger Goodell. I don't like him either, just to be honest with you. But it was interesting just to, like, how he was trying to engage the people on Zoom. Like, it's one of those things that we know that he's going to be in that position. We know that he's going to be calling out the names. We know he sucks at all of that. But it was just, it was interesting to see. But what I took away from the draft, I'm going to tell you this right now. And I'm going to quote Deion Sanders on this. I know Eddy Kool. I know you saw the video, Scotty. I'm not sure if you did.
I watched it 4 times. I loved it. Oh my God.
Deion Sanders said he was talking to his son. He was like,
yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. He's like, son, I know at some point in time we hope that you're gonna make it to the pros. We gonna plan this out.
Yeah.
We gonna have a teleprompter. All of this, cause they ain't gonna be all these shenanigans. Boy, when I tell you some people were acting up and just forgot that this was a live feed nationwide. Like, so you forgot. Oh, what was the one old girl, the girlfriend that just wanted to take up the entire camera, and Mom Dukes came through and yoked her up.
Yeah, pulled her right off camera.
Ooh. Oh man, but you know what? I don't want to talk about those shenanigans as much. The biggest surprise that got me through this draft right here. Please, somebody, for the love of all humanity, tell me what Green Bay was thinking.
I can't help you there. I can't help you.
Tell me. Let me throw out a quick point that people might not realize. The entirety of Aaron Rodgers' career, while he's been the Green Bay Packers starting quarterback, the entirety of his career, Green Bay has never, not one time, drafted an offensive player in the first round. The entirety of Aaron Rodgers' career, the entirety. Wow, they have never. they have never drafted an offensive player in the first round.
Well, they have now.
Until now. Until now. They draft his replacement. Are you kidding me? If I was Aaron Rodgers, oh my God. Forget all them discount double checks and State Farm checks and all that stuff. Oh, you gonna hear me out. I'm losing a couple sponsorships. I'm telling you right now, because I'm letting it out. Are you kidding me? Not only do you draft his replacement, you also traded up to draft his replacement. You moved up to get a quarterback. Nobody was picking Jordan Love. Not one of those teams was moving up. The team that was in place, they were not going to pick Jordan Love. What were you thinking?
Be live. Not only that, it's not like they moved up to get Tua. You know, this is a guy who played lesser competition and whose name we didn't really hear called for the majority of the season. I mean, this isn't even like a slam dunk pick. This is a guy who is going to need some grooming. And I get it. That's why they took him, because he's not going to be playing this year. But come on, this isn't like a sure bet quarterback. It's not like they had like this can't miss prospect sitting right there. It's not like Andrew Luck was sitting there, you know, a guy that you know is going to translate well to the next level. This is a guy who's a project, and that doesn't make sense to me either. I mean, you're one game from the Super Bowl and you pick a player who's not going to play. That doesn't.
Yeah, none. 0 cents whatsoever. I swore they were going to go wide receiver. I swore they were going to either go wide receiver or offensive line. They were going to pick an offensive player. Yeah, I thought it was going to be a wide receiver. No, they went with a quarterback.
Yeah, I thought they were going to try to go O-line too, because, you know, Rodgers is getting older and not as going to be quite as mobile. So you'd think you'd want to max protect the guy or give him another weapon. Like you said, this was a deep receiver draft. That to me, even if this turns out to be good down the road, I think they whiffed on it right there, because I do think they could have got him later.
Yeah, because think about, like, you had CeeDee Lamb. I mean, you had a lot of guys available.
No, CeeDee was already gone at that point.
Oh, he was already gone.
But the thing about it is, the wide receiver core was so deep.
Yeah,
like T. Higgins was still out there with my dude. Now I'm just saying, there was a lot of players that they could have went in the direction, and I just think, like, okay, it's the classic case of not having weapons. But see, last year, don't forget now, these same Packers went 13-3, and they went to the NFC Championship game to get handled by the San Francisco 49ers. And what did I say on that episode before the NFC Championship game? I said, if you take Devontae Adams out the game, you got it won. That's what San Francisco did. See, the thing about Green Bay is they don't have that home run hitter. They do have Aaron Jones, but, you know, he's reliable to an extent. But as far as like somebody that stretches the field and breaks the game wide open, it's just Aaron Jones and Devontae Adams. And once you corral once or both of them, then you can beat the Packers. And this was a head scratcher. They literally. I don't know what Aaron Rodgers did to them, but I thought they were going in the right direction when they got rid of Mike McCarthy. I thought, because that was a volatile situation, and I was like, all right, you know what I'm saying? They make it to the NFC Championship. Surprisingly to me, but Green Bay did its thing, and then they get to this draft, and they're just like, well, all right, cool, Aaron Rodgers, we're not going to get you any help. We're gonna pick your replacement.
Yeah,
we're gonna do the same thing to you that we did to Brett Favre when we drafted you. What?
Wow.
This is exactly what they did. They drafted Aaron Rodgers. I thought he was definitely the heir apparent, but he sat on that bench for 3-4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting there, I was the biggest advocate. Brett Favre, please let it go, bruh. But, I mean, Green Bay, go with Aaron Rodgers. This dude is the truth. Can you imagine if he'd have played year 2, year 3? I would have put Green Bay with a couple more Super Bowls.
Yeah, but, you know, the difference here, I think, though, was back when they picked Aaron Rodgers to kind of come in behind Favre. Favre was already starting to begin his talks of hemming and hawing about whether he was going to come back.
Right.
Aaron
Right.
Rodgers has not said that. Aaron Rodgers said last month, if you bring another quarterback in, he's not taking my job. So he's not planning on going anywhere. He's still pretty, healthy. A lot of tread left on the tire, and he probably feels like last year was a missed opportunity because he was that close to the Super Bowl without getting there. But yet here you go. You got a chance to make him, to pump him up, get him excited about next season. And he could not have been happy about that. There's no way.
Oh, not even close. Not even close. Oh man, I'm telling you right now. Oh, Green Bay, what are you doing? What in the world? You know what? Give me a minute right here. Green Bay. I'm gonna speak for Aaron Rodgers right here, right now, because this is asinine to me. Like, what were you thinking? Not only did you traded up, you lost an extra draft pick to move up, not to pick any of these skill receivers, any of these impact players. You pick a bench player. You pick somebody that's going to ride the bench. There's no way this guy plays in 2020. I'm going to tell you right now, out of the 32 people that got picked, 31 of them are going to be playing in 2020 to 2021. They're going to be on the field.
Mm-hmm.
31 of them are going to be on the field. Are you kidding me? That's what getting drafted in the first round, it happens. Whether it's game 1, week 8, week 14, whatever it is, they're going to see the field. There's no way. The only reason Jordan Love sees the field is if Aaron Rodgers gets hurt. And last time I checked, Aaron Rodgers is one of the most durable quarterbacks that's been in the league. I'm just saying. So you got to be, you know what?
You know who's
Bay.
going to be on the field next year? CeeDee Lamb for the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh.
Scott, how do you feel about that CeeDee Lamb pick, man?
I was excited about that one, man. I like the Cowboys draft. I can't say that every year, I mean, draft day, most teams are always like, yeah, we feel pretty good about what we got. I think the Cowboys really lucked out on a couple here because they were not expecting that CeeDee Lamb was going to be on the board. They were thinking defense, and when he fell into their lap, they're like, wow, we have to take this guy. We can't pass on him. And then they actually had I know that Trevon Diggs was someone they had considered for the first round, and he fell into their lap in the second round. He's a tall corner out of Alabama. And then they said they actually had considered taking Neville Gallimore in that second round, and he fell to them in the third round. So the Cowboys are happy with their picks. And I tell you, if Mr. Jared Jones is happy, of course I'm happy.
I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I looked at the Cowboys. If the only the Cowboys draft makes sense. I looked at a lot of how they were drafting. I'm like, okay, a lot of teams are addressing needs. I'm not really over here like, why you do that? Ain't that too high? Ain't that too soon? I mean, the only questionable one was Jordan Love. And I'll tell you right now, it's going to be hell. It's going to create some friction. It's going to split the locker room. It's going to become divisive. But be live. Our Carolina Panthers. As Trey Wingo said, the Rule Restoration Project, yeah, they went defense, and defense.
Wow. I've never seen that before. I've never seen that before. And like, I would have thought we'd have picked one offensive lineman. Just one, maybe. I mean, I thought that was our biggest issue last year. But maybe, I don't know. The Derek Brown, I've gotten over it. I've gotten over it because I was initially upset that we didn't pick Isaiah Simmons. I was initially upset because I thought Isaiah Simmons was that replacement for Luke Kuechly. But one thing I will say this, and I give it to him. Derek Brown, SEC Defensive Player of the Year, pure dominant run stopper, because that we definitely needed that.
Very smart by Carolina because they know there's plenty of quality XFL players on the offensive side of the ball. They can go.
Here we go.
Which they have already started doing. Actually,
can we have our moment, sir? We let you talk about.
I'm
Cowboys.
complimenting the Carolina draft.
No, just shut your face.
I'm complimenting.
Your mouth.
Being nice.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway.
Did Carolina get some guy from the XFL?
I believe we picked up another guy from the XFL.
A quarterback.
Well, we got the quarterback, PJ Walker, but I believe we also picked up somebody else from the XFL.
Kenny Robinson Jr. Yeah, Kenny Robinson Jr. Yeah.
So it's all right. So the now defunct XFL is Scottie D likes to talk about. But anyway, but check this out. But here's something else. Like, and I like I said, I'm okay with it because we do have weapons on the on our offense. I think I do like our wide receiver core. I do like the fact that we picked up, what was it Kenny? What's my dude name from the Jets? Kenny Anderson or
no? Robbie Anderson.
Robbie Anderson. That's my dude. I like that pickup. You put them together with Christian McCaffrey. I want to see Reggie Bonifant have more touches. I would like to see us do a little two-back thing because we're going to wear the heck out of Christian McCaffrey, even though we paid him all the money. But still, we're going to wear him out. But I like what they have on the offense side of the ball. I like some of the picks that we did on defense. Going to be very young. They're going to develop under this system. We're going to have Matt Rule for quite a while. 7 years, $60 million? A lot of money there as well. Yep. But as much as I want to talk about my Panthers, here's another thing that shocked me tremendously. The New England Patriots. What is the one thing that you think they would need above all when it comes to team needs? A quarterback. Guess what they didn't draft at all?
A quarterback.
So, yeah, maybe I guess Belichick is in love. What's my boy name? I can't even remember his name.
Jared Stidham.
That's that dude.
They got Stidham and Hoyer, and I think I read somewhere they signed somebody. I don't know who his name is, but they signed somebody. Patriots fans, help us out. Who the hell did y'all sign for y'all quarterback?
But yeah, I would have thought this would have been the opportunity that they would have brought in, even if it had been a later round, somebody that you develop young. I mean, Jared Stidham, he's third year in the league now? Second or third. He's young. I get it. So I guess that's the direction they want to go. I mean, so I sort of get it, but that's one of those things where, I don't know. Or maybe it's tank for Trevor.
Or maybe he just didn't feel like what was on the board was better than what he already had, so he went elsewhere.
Hell, he should have got Jordan Love.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, speaking of like of getting a need, yeah, that's what you do. You have to do what you have to do. But who knows, fellas? The NFL draft was exciting. Over 55 million viewers. Why? Because ain't nothing else going on. 55 million viewers. People, eyeballs on the screens watching the 2020 NFL draft. And yeah, I was fairly entertained. One thing I didn't like was they made this habit of highlighting the tragedy.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it, but like, are we gonna do this for everybody? Of course, it's the media industry, and the old saying goes, "If it bleeds, it leads."
So, and yeah, if I'm not mistaken, was it AJ Terrell for Clemson where they put up his mom's drug addiction, and I don't want to repeat it, but one part of it was the fact that they interviewed the players, and the players like, all right, this is part of what they've overcome, and I get part of that, but here's the inherent problem, because I thought that, okay, the players approved this. They want this to be talked about. But then after the fact, ESPN issues an apology. Whoa. If the players approved it, why did you need to apologize? So now ESPN if they'd have said nothing, it'd have been all right. There was backlash. Now I get it. There was backlash about some of the things that they were featuring. But all they had to do was say, hey, we've talked to all of the players. This is something that they talk about on the regular. But no, when they came out with an apology, it made it inherent that this was something that they were trying to do to overhype the player. And I don't know exactly what they were trying to add to the situation or whatever. I get it. Every player has a story. They've come from this, they've come from that. But what was the end game for ESPN? What exactly what they trying to do? And then on top of that, they issued an apology afterwards, and that wasn't after the effect an apology. That wasn't That wasn't a genuine apology. That was apology after backlash, which is 100 times worse. I don't believe you.
It's I guess, hey, it's saving face, man. Hey,
How?
We better apologize. It's they just saying like, well, okay. They probably noticed like, you know what, we put a lot of this out, and like you said, to your point, Be Live, we did this with the players' consent.
Well, I don't.
But it was.
I don't.
It was.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
But it was.
Sorry about that. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if that's true. If they did it with the players' consent, there's no need for an apology. You issue a statement saying, "Hey, we've talked with the players, and this is the bios that they've given us, and this is what we featured."
The Cowboys picked up CeeDee Lamb.
Wow. All right, that is Scottie D's way of asking Eddy Kool to Amtrak this thing. No, it wasn't. That's fine. That's fine, Scottie D. We won't go that much into
that. Might be my pepper point later too.
Wow.
All right. So check this out. After Jordan Love got picked, let's see, T. Higgins at They could have got T. Higgins. They could have got Michael Pittman Jr. They could have got, LaVisca Chenault Jr. They could have got the man some damn help, but nah, we're just going to get Jordan Love and make everybody mad. But the 2020 draft, fellas, in the books, it was great. It was fairly entertaining. Fellas, if your lady happens to grab your phone on national-wide television and you snatch it out of hand, she can look silly all she want to because you got to have two phones, one to talk to Big Jerry Jones and one for everybody else, okay? All your friends and stuff saying congratulations. Because see, in some places, you probably got a lag between, your house and their house. They probably tell you congratulations. Things happen. Honey, if you ain't paying the bill, don't touch the phone. Moving right along.
There's another side note. Also, with that same girl, she also dated my dude from Young. What's his first
name?
Trey Young. Yeah,
and all them jokes went to Oklahoma together. Go figure, right? Go figure. But we gonna move right along. And
I don't went with the NBA money, but see what happened.
What happened? What happened? Well, she like CeeDee. He's so tall, and his name was Cladarius, but they call him CeeDee. Anyways, honey. All right. Speaking of moving right along and people with names and everything. The Last Dance, fellas. Not The Last Ride. I got it right this time.
Nice.
The Last Dance, episode 3 and 4. We pretty much take a deep dive into Dennis Rodman, the Pistons, and how Phil Jackson became the coach. I missed the first 30 minutes of it, but I did go back and watch both episodes in their entirety. It's that good. I got to find some way to get a copy of all 10 episodes once this is all over with. As we mentioned, it did talk about Dennis Rodman, give us the backstory. And when I look at Dennis Rodman, somebody said on Facebook the other night, they said, when I see Dennis Rodman, I get Rick James vibes. I'm going to do you one better. I'm going to do you two better. When I see Dennis Rodman, I get Rick James and Jimi Hendrix vibes. Because they were guys that did the wrong thing. I mean, Dennis came through. It was like, look, I come here to play ball. And I'm trying to win a championship.
I thought it was very interesting. Anytime I see anything on Rodman, I've always just thought he was fascinating, just because you see who he was as a young man in Detroit, and as he progressed into the kind of freak show as we know him to be today. But I've always liked Rodman. I thought it was very interesting when probably the most interesting part of the whole 2 hours last night was the section where they were talking about Rodman asking for a vacation and going to Vegas, and how they were saying, Michael said, if he goes there, we might not get him back. We might not see him again. What I thought was interesting, though, was how Phil Jackson handled that, and that he didn't make a big deal of it. He didn't bring in Jerry Krause to discuss it. He wanted to talk to his top guy about it. He brought in his general, and him and Michael Jordan talked about it and kind of said, all right, do your 48 hours, do you for your little break there, Dennis. That would never have worked in San Antonio. That's why Rodman kind of got run out of San Antonio, because he butted heads with Popovich those years before that. Phil Jackson just had a way of smoothing everything over and was, a key ingredient. You kind of saw how he was brought to the forefront, through the Doug Collins situation and taking over. over for that, and ultimately he got phased out as well. But I thought that was very interesting the way that he kind of decided I need to talk to Michael about the situation about getting Dennis out. It was kind of funny. Michael's reaction: "He needs vacation. I need vacation. If anybody needs vacation, it's me." But it was interesting. Then finally, Michael, he let him have his little break even longer than he wanted. Then finally, he's like, "I got to go get this guy myself." So, and it was Jordan who went to the hotel to get. I guess Carmen Electra was all dolled up, hiding under the covers in there. However, that went down, but that was a very interesting section. I just thought it was kind of a unique perspective on how Jordan and Phil coexisted with Dennis Rodman in that time period, because I think they knew in the long run we need him, and he was such a key component, especially defensively, for the success of those Bulls teams.
Yeah, just like as Jordan said, and I quote. If anybody needs vacation, I need an effing vacation. If you let this dude go on vacation, we are not going to see him. If you let this dude go to Vegas, we're definitely not going to see him. Be live, what you got?
Oh, one thing that I enjoyed a little bit about this when it comes to like enlightening us about the craziness that is Dennis Rodman, it was sort of again, like you say that Phil Jackson went to talk to Michael Jordan about it and just how they felt about it, and at this 48-hour window, and it was again sort of humanized. Like we take our professional athletes, all of our professional athletes, and we put them in this bubble that they're supposed to do this. They're supposed to be upstanding, hardworking, first guy to practice, last guy to lead practice, always studying. I mean, we put them in that bubble because we think of we put them on this pedestal because essentially, I mean, that's what we do as sports fans. We have that inherent faction about us. Like we take these guys and they're bigger than life. And it was like, no, this dude's like, man, I want a vacation. Shoot. All I'm doing is running, playing basketball all the time. Shoot, what am I doing with myself? Shoot, I want to go to Vegas right now. I got this money. I can't even do nothing with it. I'm just sitting there, man, running up and down the court playing. I want to be with Carmen Electra right now. I don't know. Yes,
Yeah.
So it's not people aren't cookie cutter, and I get there's so many different routes and so many different ways that people can go when it comes to becoming a professional athlete, and we expect a lot from people. I mean, we pay money to see them, we pay merchandise, all this stuff like that. But at the end of the day, they're just as human as we are. They just happen to be gifted in a certain aspect and was able to capitalize on that. So I mean, I guess my biggest thing was just the fact that they humanized him per se, which is hard
and they
to do,
did, even when Jordan recalled the story where he was really upset with Rodman and he came to his room, and Michael said he never did that, and Dennis didn't even apologize, but he asked him for a cigar, something that they both commonly did, was smoke cigars, and he knew that was his way of reaching out to him. So that was kind of cool. Those were things. Like, I remember when this was all going on. I remember the Rodman running off with Carmen Electra and all that stuff. But I didn't, ever really know the dynamic of the relationship that he had with Rodman. And I thought that was kind of cool to see him pull the curtain back and tell that story of Rodman coming to his hotel room, just to communicate with him. That was interesting to me.
Yeah, and they knew that, you know what? Let's get this guy from San Antonio, man. Let's get him in. Because you remember how Phil, when they first had the interaction, Dennis was like, "Hey,
yeah,
what's up? Whatever. All right." Like, he's like, "Aren't you going to stand up and talk to me?" Nah. Hey, I'm Dennis. I play ball. What you want? And then, like, the second time around, they finally got to happen. So, yeah, that was good to give us a nice introspective into the relationship of Michael Jordan and Dennis Rodman. Something I've always wondered about, because you had somebody so competitive like Michael Jordan that was, the first there, the last to leave, studying film, student of the game. And then you just had wild ass Dennis Rodman, earrings, piercings, wedding dresses, random Vegas benders. Like I said, coming back to Chicago the next day, like nothing ever happened. But when it was game time, it was time to suit up and boot up, Dennis did what
Yeah,
was needed of
yeah,
him.
and it sounded like
He
even
did it.
at practice because Jordan was talking about how he was having to do conditioning drills because of Rodman, and Rodman was one of those leading the conditioning drills, doing the 4 laps around. Interesting stuff, man. Like I said, everything about Rodman always comes up interesting to me.
Yeah, whenever I played basketball, I patterned my game off of Rodman. I'm like, look, I ain't got no shot. I can't dunk, but I'm gonna bump these bodies around and get these rebounds. And I was all of what 5'11", but you know what? I'm like, well, maybe I'll make the team for being scrappy. Nah, they had dudes a couple inches taller than me, so that's why I went to wrestling and went to football. Also, we learned about the Bulls Pistons rivalry, and how that was, and how that made Michael Jordan and the young Chicago Bulls get their act together if they want to get over that hump and get to the NBA Finals.
It's one of those things. I grew up like I against the grain. I grew up a Detroit basketball fan, Detroit Pistons. My favorite player was Joe Dumars. The dude had a deadly shot on him. That was my dude growing up. And then like the bad boys, they were nasty with it. Like there was no finesse about this team. They just came out. They said, "All right, you gonna try to come into our house. If you come in this painted area right here, we're smacking you in the mouth." There's going to be nothing pretty about it. It was gritty. It was dirty. It was ugly. And I'm not even going to lie. I loved it. I loved it. It's one of those things where even now, like I enjoy certain aspects of basketball. Like me personally, I was a 3-point shooter. That was my thing. Like I had a pretty decent shot. But it's one of those things where the 3-pointer has almost like sort of diluted the game now, as opposed to when growing up in the 80s, early 90s, and watching the Detroit team that just smash mouth like that's why that's always my biggest debate whenever people talk about Jordan versus LeBron and playing in different eras. Jordan would average 40 points this day and age.
Yep.
Yes, players a little bit more athletic, but shoot, Jordan always elevated his game according to who he played. He was going to be the best player on the court, period. He wasn't afraid to smash mouth in the paint. He was not afraid. And I'll tell you, Detroit did everything in their power to make him afraid. Because especially Bill Laimbeer, Bill Laimbeer. He make
Bill
you want to
Laimbeer
fight somebody.
Is a scumbag.
Uh-oh.
And he was a scumbag back then.
Here we go.
And he's a scumbag now. And Isaiah Thomas, if you saw what he said, not even just during the show, but today, on ESPN, he was interviewed about this stuff, kind of backpedals and said, I paid the price for us leaving the quarter. They got into that thing, which I had seen on, they documented this on the Bad Boys documentary too, where they didn't stick around for the last 7 seconds of their elimination game. They walked off the court, didn't stay to shake hands. And that was facilitated by Bill Laimbeer. And, he tries to justify it by saying, well, the Celtics did it to us. But they, as Michael Jordan pointed out, they eliminated the Bulls 2 years in a row. And Michael Jordan, being the biggest competitor in the NBA, went out and shook hands with them out of respect, even though he didn't like them. He went out and shook hands, and they didn't give him that same respect in return. Isaiah kind of is backpedaling on it, saying, I regret it to an extent. And Laimbeer's standing by it. And that's because Laimbeer is still a scumbag.
All right, and and what Jordan said, I guess they gave some time for Isaiah to explain what's going on, and he came on screen and explained what had happened that day. But Michael Jordan wouldn't hear none of it. He said, "Look, I know." He said, "You can show it to him all you want to. I know it's all BS. Whatever Isaiah says now, it was true actions then. He had no time to think about it, or the reaction of the public has changed his perspective. You can show me anything you want, but there's no way that you convince me." I lost it. No way you convince me he wasn't an a-hole.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and this further opines upon the Michael Jordan Isaiah Thomas rivalry, if you will, because if I'm not mistaken, didn't Michael Jordan pick Christian Laettner over Isaiah to make the
Well, it wasn't his
basketball team that 1 year?
decision, but he did get
Oh.
It came down. That actually came down to Shaq and Christian Laettner because they were going to choose a single college player. But Isaiah not getting on that team could have had something to do with Jordan's disdain for him. I do believe that could have been the case.
Oh yeah, Jordan had influence, to say the least, when it came to the Dream Team. The greatest thing ever to hit the basketball court. But and even Isaiah's disdain, even though he backpedaled a little bit with the whole shaking of the hands and everything, Isaiah Thomas does not like Michael Jordan at all.
Mm-mm.
He does not, and every chance he gets,
he's two-faced and jealous.
He's quick to. Yeah, he's quick to say, "Oh man, LeBron James this, LeBron James that." I'm like, "Oh, bruh, you salty."
You play with Michael Jordan, one of the greatest players of all time.
You've seen it firsthand. And here's the thing that people it drives me insane. The athlete is different for many different reasons: nutrition, science, just the Like they're built different now than they were back in those days. I mean, the fact that people say that LeBron James would dominate in that because of his size and everything, I don't think LeBron would have ever been able to take them hits.
Seeing Rick Mahorn and Robert Parrish and Mark Eaton and all think about all those big body heavyweights, and a lot of these guys played in the East. I don't know what they had in the West, but I know in the East they had them big body heavyweights. If you put a toenail, a pinky toe, or big toe in the paint,
oh yeah, it's coming off.
I'm on it.
It's coming off, and so it's a different mentality. That's why I like. Just Michael Jordan is the reason why people claim him as a GOAT is not necessarily because of his skill level or his talent. It was that killer mentality that he was going to do. He was going to score. He was going to, and like again, him scoring 49 and 63 against that loaded Boston Celtics team, taking them to double overtime in game 2. That right there solidified it for me. Not the 6 titles. It was the fact that when he had nobody around him, he said, "Give me the ball. I'm going to do everything in my power." But that team was loaded. Are you kidding me? And so, like, I give it to LeBron James and his ability, his skill set. He's by far the most talented player I've ever seen hold a basketball. Like, his skill set is second to none. But that killer mentality. LeBron James wouldn't have 3 titles if it wasn't for Ray Allen or Kyrie Irving.
And Carmen Electra is 48 years old.
Good for her.
Carmen Electra is 48 years old. So, fellas, are we looking forward to episodes?
Heck
5
yeah!
and
This
6
has
of the Last
been
Dance?
a good time watching these.
Oh yeah,
these trips down memory lane here, and just like I said, pulling back the curtain, seeing some of the inside stuff that we had never known about. So we saw a lot of the stuff get reported on SportsCenter back at the time, but we just didn't see a lot of the behind the scenes stuff that we're getting to check out now. It's really cool. I'm really enjoying it.
And now I see how Dennis Rodman got the okay to go wrestle with Hulk Hogan in WCW against Karl Malone and Diamond Dallas Page. It all makes sense. Now, see, they skipped that, and I'm a little tight about that. They skipped that. That's an integral part of this whole thing. They skipped that, but you know what? Now it makes sense.
and now this day and age, we've got Rob Gronkowski going back to football and going back to Tampa Bay, and he still has the 24/7 title. So I don't know. I just had to throw that out there. I'm waiting to see how that develops. This is going because WWE about to do something silly, right?
Yeah.
They even mentioned it on SmackDown where, can you imagine Rob Gronkowski catching the touchdown in the end zone and then getting pinned for a 3 count? Yeah. Shut up.
Yeah. What's it be like? Shut up.
Shut up.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you think security's gonna let that happen? Hey, when Gronk is on, he's on, man. But when he's injury prone, look out. That's the best time to get him.
Yeah,
The best time to get him.
oh,
All right, fellas, and so that's
Yes,
all we
sir.
got for the last dance recap.
good with me.
Ooh, and I almost said last ride. And speaking of riding along, Button, hit it.
And now, our favorite part of the show, the choices of the voices.
Thank you once again to the wonderful and lovely Miss Button for the introduction to our favorite part of the show. Hey, look, 57 episodes, all right? I've done said it for a good majority of them. You know the woman ain't lying. She's honest with her. She's telling the truth. She ain't lying. And if she's lying, she ain't flying. And I'm pretty sure where she at, grounded. This is our favorite part of the show. Choices of the voices. Ooh, we. The Mount Rushmore of choices of the voices. This topic is going to be the first on the mountains of Rushmore. Like I said a few weeks ago, mine might look like an 8-piece nugget, but that's me. That's me. I'm crazy as hell like that. I'm the host, Eddy Kool, HOC. I do what it does. All right, so enough of me rambling. Scottie D was
the question was to
this
ask
week's
our
choices of
listeners if
voices.
you've your experiences of meeting, spending time with, hanging out with, whatever, of someone from the world of sports, and was it a good experience or bad experience? And we had a lot of people who had run-ins with famous athletes.
Yeah, it's a lot. We got a bunch, and I'm gonna apologize ahead of time. Look, I'm not gonna read everybody's. Okay, I'm not gonna read everybody's, but what I am grateful for is your participation. Thank you very much. That shows you actually pay attention, and that's great. All right, kicking off once again. My coworker here, Matty Ice 2.0. Matt Uliski said he got to meet CeeDee Sabathia and E40 at the same time at a Westlake bar. They bought us drinks, and it was awesome. So he got a double whammy. He got to meet CeeDee Sabathia and E40. That was a dope one. All right, Tony Mello, he got to meet Javi Lopez. He was a class act, as he always is. You know, he signed his jersey. Thank him for being a fan. He also met Mark Lemke, who was a Braves shortstop at the time. Signed our flag, talked to him, talked to his wife. And just overall great. Baseball was infectious. He really loves the game of baseball. So Javi Lopez and Mark Lemke. Doug Hagan, he said he spent the entire day with Rex Ryan on a golf course for a work event. That's always cool. And then he said his dad was friends with Johnny Unitas growing up. Yeah, one of the dopest quarterbacks
Let me just
of all
butt in here
time.
real quick
Johnny
on this
U
one,
and
Eddie,
Rex
for just one quick reason. And that's because I know Doug, and I actually pointed this out on the Facebook page when he was answering. But Doug was a pitcher when he was younger, and spent some time in my hometown of Washington playing for a semi-pro league where the manager was Kent Tekulve, who was the pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates who won the World Series in 1979. And I remember him telling me a story about meeting or getting a call from Tekulve for the first time. He didn't know who he was. He was a little bit younger than me, but I thought that was kind of cool that you know, a guy who was part of the Pittsburgh Pirates family ended up being the manager of one of my friends later in life. And that was kind of a cool connection. So I included that with Doug on, I brought that point up with Doug on our Facebook answer. So just wanted to scratch on that real quick there.
Hey, nothing wrong with that, man. Pretty good, pretty cool, pretty dope. All right, moving right along. We got Damon Benko. He said Matt and Chris Barr. You know, the field goal kickers every 4th of July. Okay, that's cool.
Very
hey, man,
cool.
Hey, kickers are cool dudes, too. Look at Pat McAfee. Wheeler Hawks. Yep, Wheeler Hawks. He met Ron Gantz. Frequented my restaurant in Atlanta a lot. He did come in. Nice dude. Super awesome. He talked about baseball. Ron Gant was a two-sport athlete, if I'm not mistaken. He did play for the Falcons and the Braves, and he is currently,
I think that was Brian Jordan,
anchor
actually,
on Fox 5. In
Brian Jordan played for the Falcons and
Brian
Braves.
Jordan?
I think he was the two-sport guy that played back then.
I thought Ron Gant played.
He might have, but Jordan definitely was
two sports.
I
Brian
don't know
Jordan.
Gant played pro in anything but baseball, but Brian Jordan did, I think.
Oh, okay. Well, Mike
Dion did, yeah.
Deion,
But I think
Sanders,
I think you were thinking of Gant whenever you were bringing that up. Or I think Jordan was the guy you were cross-referencing there. Yeah. So
Jordan.
I just wanted to point that out to you if you wanted to edit that up.
Got you. I'll fix that. All right. So Ron Gant, real cool dude. And then we got Rodney Bellamy. How you liking tour, Rodney? Holla at your boys. He said, I did a Jaeger bomb with OJ McDuffie. We talked about Jay Fiedler's throwing arm. I think I got on his nerves. I want to get a second shot.
Easy come, easy go, Rodney. At least you got to meet a dolphin. That's cool.
Yeah, you can't do that. Hey, Rodney, it bees that way sometimes.
Yes, sir.
All right, then we got Lonnie Doxey. He had dinner with Eddie George at Miyabi's a few years back. Nice. Great guy, very humble. Buckeye, Eddie George, good dude. All right, then we got Stacy Maxo Tanner. She talked with Franco Harris at a Pirates game, met Goose Gossage, Riley Ford, a few other Yankees. It was doing an old timers weekend. She said both experiences was something that she would treasure forever, as you should, Stacy. Amanda Scott, well, she met some good old race car boys. She met Bobby Labonte at Applebee's years ago. He was nice. Michael Waltrip, Dale Jarrett, and another driver whom she cannot remember in Daytona many moons ago. They were nice guys, and they were driving around on their yachts somewhere in Florida, if I'm not mistaken. Then we got Mark Olds. Woo! He met the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. I would do the whoop, but he probably wants some money. Anyways, he met Ric Flair. He came into a Ruth Chris. He was holding the door and didn't realize who he was until he got up and shook his hand and told me. And I'm like, whoa! All right, he ended up coming in quiet, bit cool, because he would buy the first name and da. So yeah, very humble guy. He really enjoyed the experience meeting the Nature Boy. Ric Flair, 16 times.
I've met him too, actually. Ric Flair is a regular in Myrtle Beach. He always does the Monday after the Masters, and I met him years ago, and he was staying at a hotel I was working at. He's always cool to everybody, man. Every time I've seen Ric Flair, he's been just nice to everybody around. Lots of wooing going on when he walks around.
I tell you what, man, Ric Flair knew in his wrestling career in his heyday, he made a lot of money in the Carolinas. This was his territory, like North Carolina, South Carolina, part like that eastern part of Georgia, all Ric Flair country, baby, all Nature Boy country. One of the biggest influencers in modern society today is Ric Flair. Speaking of the GOAT, the greatest of all time, Uncle Max, Sports Bros Podcast, Choices of the Voices listener and OG, he said he met Bart Starr at his home in Birmingham. He was installing plantation shutters there. He was very friendly, and it was a thrill to meet him. Good old Bart Starr. All right, Karen Taylor Ritchie, she said her pastor at Chapel by the Sea Baptist Church is Roger Carr. He is a former NFL wide receiver for the Baltimore Colts. So he was a wide receiver turned pastor. That's pretty doggone cool. Yep, Stuart Locklear, 1997, Monday after the Masters, something you just mentioned, Scottie D. Masters Party, a.k.a. the Hootie and the Blowfish Pro-Am in Columbia, South Carolina at Elbow Room Bar. He met Dan Marino, and he said Dan Marino was a general jackass to everyone. That didn't matter. Had drinks with Stuart Scott, Linda Cohen, that treated you like friends they just met. The funny thing about Dan Marino, I'm not surprised because there's a video of Dan Marino floating around. There's an outtakes package somewhere. And he's cussing up a storm like,
I've heard Dan Marino.
So this doesn't surprise me. Okay, yeah. So that's why I'm like, some people like, Dan Marino. Don't be surprised. He's the first to throw for 5,000 yards. So I guess you do that. You can talk all the trash you want to. One of my former classmates, Kira Cartagena, she said she met Bruce Jenner on a flight, and she also posted the picture as well of her and Bruce Jenner. That's pretty dope. That's pretty dope. You never know who you meet on this airline. You never know who you meet.
Or Caitlin. Yeah, I mean, you never know.
I was going to leave it alone.
I saw that one coming because we know Scottie D.
We
know how inappropriate
say anything
he
other
is.
Than
like
what I just said.
Yeah, you always.
Scott functions on with my logic.
I didn't say anything other than what I just said.
Either way, I'm going to say it.
All right.
Hey, that's it. End of defense rest. All right. Bring it up the rear. We got the one, the only, Trey Dizzle. He said his brother, not him. His brother met Brett Favre. He loves him and he knows him. Oh, he's in love with him, I guess. He met him one-on-one in the lobby of a hotel while they were staying in Charlotte. His mom knows Reggie White's wife before he retired. They were able to get in touch with him to meet with Brett Favre. So they did this whole jersey swap, got autographs. They signed autograph here. He said, so Brett Favre is exactly who you think he is. He's real life and he's cool AF.
And I can vouch for his story that
free.
his brother is absolutely in love with Brett Favre because I've met him.
Hold on. Wait a minute, fellas. Let's take a moment. We've done 57 episodes. 57, right?
Mm-hmm.
57 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
We have to take this moment because I do believe Trey Duke, he's been an avid, faithful listener and participator of the Choice of the Voices. Is this the first time he has not mentioned the Cowboys in his answer? Woo! Wait a minute. Hold the presses. Stop it. This really just happened. This is real life. This is not a drill, ladies and gentlemen. Trey Dizzle did not mention the Cowboys in an answer. This is unprecedented. This is one of a kind. We must take this moment.
60 minutes into the podcast.
We have to take this moment and praise the good Lord above. Trey Dizzle, and the thing about this is that I appreciate not only that he did not answer anything Cowboys related, he also gave props to his family in this. I guess I'm just Trey Duke. Golf clap. Yes. I'm so proud of you. And I know by just saying this, next week's answer is just going to be ridiculous. But
he gonna give you what you asked for. Yeah. He gonna give you exactly what you asked for.
I had to take that moment. I do apologize. Eddy Kool, Amtrak, this thing. Let's get it.
All right. So Scottie D.
There's a few others. But one I did want to mention was Matty Ice did mention he gave us a few, but one that I thought was really cool was his story that when he was 12 or 13, Mickey Mantle was golfing at Azalea Sands, and he said people were afraid to go meet him, but he was not. And he said he ran out to the 18th hole and introduced himself and invited him over to dinner. And he said Mickey shook hands with him and signed a card. And Lou Piniella was with Mickey Mantle, and they signed cards to him. So that was, he said they didn't make it to dinner, but that was really cool that he got to meet Mickey Mantle, because Mickey is really a legend when it comes to the world of baseball. And he was like a cultural icon as well. So, there's a few others. We just too many to go into depth with this week. But I wanted to mention Matty's story with Mickey Mantle. I thought that was a really cool story.
Wow, Azalea Sands. Both of my brothers used to work there. Yeah, wow, Azalea Sands, right down our backyard, like all these celebrities and all these stars. Oh man, this is dope. Yeah, so this is a fully loaded version of the Choices of the Voices. And I'm going to thank Matt Gillespie, Tony Mello, Doug Hagen, Damon Renko, Wheeler, Rodney, Lonnie, Stacy, Amanda, Mark, Uncle Max, Karen Stewart, Trey Dizzle, and Kira for their participation in this week's Choices of the Voices. But before we go any further, Scottie D, you got any? I know look. You worked at a doggone sports bar, for God's sake. You've been at every Mondays at the Masters.
For sure, yeah. There's a handful. I even spent a couple of years at a pro-am golf tournament down in Florida that, it was a celebrity pro-am, and I have an interesting Joe Theismann story that I'll share at another time. But working at Overtime, I met Jose Canseco. We had an autograph signing there with him. Not the most friendly guy, I'm not going to go too into depth of that, but the coolest athlete story that I have came from Overtime. And that was a friend of mine was friends with our general manager, who at the time our general manager, but this is around 2006, 7, 8, somewhere in there, was not a big sports fan. He kind of left all the sports stuff up to me because, as you know, I'm a fan. Anyway, he calls me one day and he says, my friend Troy is friends with Cecil Fielder. Now, Troy had played minor league baseball with a lot of guys who made it to the show and maintained relationships. Troy had an arm injury and was out of baseball, so he never made it to the show. But he had a friendship that lasted with like David Wells, Cecil Fielder, a couple other guys. And Cecil Fielder was coming to Myrtle Beach and was going to sign autographs at overtime. And I thought, hey, maybe this guy might want to play golf with me. So I put it out there, and he said, yeah, he does want to play golf with you. He's going to come in Friday night during karaoke night and meet you, and we'll take it from there. And so he came in, and we made arrangements where I actually met him at overtime the next day, and he drove me to the golf course with a couple other friends who were Yankee fans. And he was just a very, very cool guy. Now, most athletes you might meet, but here I am golfing with Cecil Fielder, who was a very, very good Major League Baseball player for several years, a big-time slugger. And I got to spend about 4 or 5 hours with him that day. And he was just as nice as he could be, talked baseball with me and the guys all day, shared stories. It wasn't like we had to tiptoe around him and, we're like, who's your favorite teammate? We didn't want to interview him, but he just went there with us anyway. He just gladly talked baseball all day. And it was an awesome, awesome experience. And I'll never forget the day I get to spend with Cecil Fielder, former World Series champion with the New York Yankees. So that one is definitely one I wanted to share with you guys.
Big Daddy. You know what, man? It's funny that you speak of Cecil Fielder. I was watching, I go on YouTube benders because, I ain't working. I got nothing else to do. I go on YouTube benders, and I was like, Tiger Stadium, the old Tiger Stadium just came to mind. And I was like, oh, let me look at some stuff. And I think I saw a video of Cecil Fielder just destroying one.
He hit one out of that stadium.
And it went like in the middle of the road or something like that.
If I'm not mistaken. He hit one out of that stadium. He even told us that day, he said, I was the original Big Poppy.
Yeah. Hey, be like.
And Cecil's hands and forearms were huge. I mean, he's just a naturally big guy. And he was, pre-steroid era, really. I mean, that was starting to come along toward the end of his career, as his career was winding down. But he referred to himself as the original Big Poppy because, David Ortiz was very popular at the time that we went golfing. But good guy, man. Really a pleasant experience.
Yeah. Hey, B-Live, I bet that ball probably went across the street to Chelly's. Remember Chelly's went to Detroit?
Yeah. But yeah, so that great story. I'm gonna try my best. I've got a few of them. But I'm gonna narrow it down. I'm gonna throw out a couple names real quick. A couple of basketball camps I went to. One of them featured Alex English. So actually, I got to play basketball alongside. It was his basketball camp, and he's showing me some techniques and everything. Also, Bobby Hurley. Bobby Hurley is responsible for my basketball shot. Just let everybody know that. He taught me how to hold the ball with one hand, not even use a guide hand. Just shoot the ball with one hand, take a step back, this without jumping. You just taught pure form. I'll never forget it. Never forget it all. Also, recently, this past year, I was doing my normal thing at the bowling alley here in Fayetteville at B&B Bowling Lanes, and this one guy just came in. He was a sub for a team right next to me and everything, and I'm watching this dude bowl. He's a left-handed bowler, and I mean, this dude is hitting the same spot every single time. Pow, pow, pow. This guy is freaking amazing. And I keep looking up at his score, and I'm like, that name. This guy looks so familiar. This happens to be PBA Hall of Famer Jason Couch. 41 300 games on TV. It's in professional bowling. 300 games in regular normal life, just at the regular bowling alleys that we might go to, that's a pretty big deal. 41 on a professional oil pattern is unheard of. This guy is freaking amazing. And he's just bowling right next to me, and I barely recognized the dude until I was like, this
So Bobby Hurley, huh?
Goodness. This guy's good. This boy good. Yes, Bobby Hurley. Yes, I like the fact you just discounted my bowling story. That's cool. That's cool. But yes, you did. I'm sick of you. I'm so sick of you.
Alex English, huh?
But that's not my feature. That's not my feature, though. That is not my feature. Shut up.
Hey, he's from South Carolina?
Yes, he is from Newberry, South Carolina.
Hey.
So that, I had the chance to go to his basketball camp. It was freaking awesome. But yes, my feature story, though, was when I was working at Joe's Crab Shack at Broadway at the beach. And we just gotten off of work. I done got cleaned up, about to hit the club doing my thing. And it just happened to be this guy sitting in the corner just chilling, whatnot. He's got a couple people here around him and everything. And I was like, oh, shoot. Pretty cool dude, I happened to look over like, that guy looks familiar. Why is he? And I mean, he's like, I'm 6 foot. I'm 6'4", 6'5". This guy stood about like 5'9", somewhere around there. Just a real big, stocky dude, though. And I was like, holy, whoa, wait a minute. Is that? No, it isn't. That can't be. That can't be. It's not possible. It's not possible at all. I ain't gonna find out unless I know, because it's dark in the club. You know what I'm saying? And this club Malibu's a little dark in there. He's just chilling on the side of the bar and everything, having a drink, whatever. I was like, I am not gonna know unless I just go up and find out for real. I go up to the dude. I was like, you look very familiar. The bus, Jerome Bettis. He's like, yeah, you got me. I was like, get the out of here. He was so low key because he was just chilling in the cut. Club Malibu. Can you imagine this, Eddy Kool? Can you imagine Club Malibu just off day, not that busy in there, and
okay.
Jerome Bettis is just in there just having a drink.
The bus.
He's drinking Yingling.
Wow.
He's drinking Yingling.
He got good taste.
And I was like, man, your next beer, can I buy you a beer? Yeah, but you do shots. Man, I bought the man. Okay, remind you, NFL Hall of Famer, Jerome Bettis, bartender at Joe's Crab Shack. I'm buying him drinks. He got way more money than me. But he's like, you don't have to. I'm like, dude, I want to. I want to be able to tell this story years from now that I bought Jerome Bettis drinks, and we just sat in the cut and just chilled because he wanted to be low key about it. I saw that. I didn't go complete fanboy on him. I was like, man, just a little bit of story behind that. He at the time he was a part owner of the Myrtle Beach Pelicans.
That's true. I remember that.
So he was in town just promoting the team and everything. He just happened to be hanging out. He didn't really have that much of an entourage. Had a couple girls here there. We were just talking, a couple randoms, Hey, the bus, be live, yes sir.
Nice.
The bus. So be live.
Andy met a
gas in the bus. Oh, fellas, and that.
Bobby Hurley, the bus, and the
wow. Hey man,
I'm with you.
You live for this, don't you?
Yeah, dude. You guys walk to a bar.
You know what, Eddy Kool, just go ahead.
Give him a show back. As you know what, when Scottie D first posed this question last week, I'm looking at my Kool-O-Dex, my head, and I'm just cycling through story after story after story. But we did touch on one particular athlete earlier during this whole Choices of the Voices segment.
Hold on. Before you go into this story, we're just gonna roll past the fact that you said Kool-O-Dex.
Yeah, I said that. I said that. I said that.
Kool-O-Dex. I was like, what?
Yeah, found the title for the episode of Kool-O-Dex.
I'm sorry. That took me. Yes, I love it. Yes, I love it.
All right. So I was going through the Kool-O-Dex, just going through stuff. And as we did mention earlier, we did mention a particular athlete, Brian Jordan. When I was working at Joe's Crab Shack in Atlanta, I had the pleasure of waiting on Brian Jordan and his family. Real nice dude, real cool, just a regular dude, just having dinner with his family. Because I'm gonna tell you what I did. I did a Cardinal Sin, Be Live, and Scott, you can understand. They sat me out of rotation. It was forced rotation because I was like, look, he needs to sit here. Okay, there's no. He needs to sit here. All right, he needs to sit here. And come to find out, I was like, wow, that is Brian Jordan. So we talked, had a conversation, real good, real nice dude. There was another time I met Freddie Freeman in Atlanta when I was working at the Cheesecake Factory, and I stepped on his foot. Be Live.
Hey,
His
what?
foot. And listen, when I say blood ran cold, I was like, oh,
My bad.
I felt 5 inches tall. And see, Freddie is tall. He's tall. You know, he can tell he's an athlete. I was like, Freddie, man, you know, dude, hey, it's okay. You sure, man, because you're fine. You sure? Yeah. All right, man. Oh, okay, man. Go Braves. Because I was like, oh Lord, I just like the cold sweats. I stepped his foot, and I was like, who this Bigfoot Joker is? And I was like, man.
Oh no.
yeah. I stepped on Freddie Freeman's foot. I got 1,000 stories. I met Jason Campbell. Pretty reserved. I think he got mad when I asked him about, him possibly retiring. He's like, I'm not gonna retire. I'm like, all right, bye. What's another one? Professional wrestler MJF. I met him after leaving an episode of AEW Dynamite when they were in Cleveland, and in typical MJF fashion, hey man, how you doing? Good night. What's up, man?
I like it.
He gives us a middle finger, keeps it moving. Way to stay in character, kid. Yep. Then I met Dante Robinson, former South Carolina Gamecock, former Houston Texans and Kansas City Chiefs. Real nice. And I said, hey man, I noticed you retired early. He said, yep. He said, when everybody get hurt, man, I had to make a choice. He said, either I can make more money and risk my health or be here for my kids. And I was like, oh. So he put the whole retirement early thing in proper perspective. So now when I hear the likes of Patrick Willis and Luke Kuechly retiring, I get it. And then the funniest story is I met AJ Green. I just came back for Memorial Weekend. I was living in Atlanta. And I noticed this man. I was working a patio shift, right? I noticed his man and his son just all up in this dude's face. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? He's my guest. Get the hell on. Go mind your business. And I looked at him. I was like, excuse me, man, I hate to do this, but sir, who are you? He's like, I'm AJ Green. I said, oh, you AJ Green from Somerville. He's like, yeah. I was like, okay. Well, nice to meet you, man. Okay, I didn't mean to bombard you like that. So AJ Green was really nice. I told him about an old podcast I had at the time. His wife had the world's biggest wedding ring on her finger.
I bet she was nice looking too, huh?
It was large, yep. So she taken care of. And yes. And AJ Green eats like a horse. Of course, the Cheesecake Factory. I'm not lying. This is before OTA. So get all this mess out of the system now. AJ Green got like a create your own omelet, fully loaded. And then he got like 2 big slices of the brulee French toast. Destroyed it. Nice dude, tips well too. The last story I have, God, I got 9 of them. I met Francisco Lindor. I'm not gonna lie to you. What had happened was, it was one night I had a patio shift, and I noticed this very beautiful woman walking in the door. I was like, wow, she is N-O-R-C-E. She is nice, very nice, in my Bernie Mac voice. And so the whole time I'm looking at her, I see this dude on the phone just talking. And so the table was kind of wobbly. I said, ma'am, I'll fix this table for you. I'm a server. I got to put on to get the money. You know what I mean? So I take a napkin and fold it up. And I kind of look on like, man, this dude got a big old bracelet on. I'm just minding my business. And I look over and I was like, is that a designer wallet? They ain't no normal, TJ Maxx and Marshall's wallet. He got them funny designs on this stuff. I looked over and I was looking at this girl. I was all up in her face. I looked over, I was like, oh, what's up, man? It was Francisco Lindor. Francisco Lindor, he was cool. He was cool. He was cool and still is cool. Yeah, I got like 30 more other stories, but we gotta go home pretty soon. But
also, I'm glad he was pretty cool because you look like you was casing him to rob him.
Stepping on dudes' feet, robbing athletes, getting on their grill.
I looked at his very
yeah.
he hitting on this girl and everything, eyeing his wallet.
Look, she coming there looking. If you, I'm leaving all this in the show. I don't care. She was looking right. She looking real nice. She was looking NOICE. Like Bernie Mac said, she looking a bacon and egg sandwich first thing in the morning. She looking real nice. And and that served as a distraction. And I noticed this because sometimes I'm aloof. I don't know my surroundings. I'm like, okay, this is a whole lot going on. And okay, she's nice. And I look on, I was like, oh, what's up, man? you know. And of course, no, I didn't mark out. I didn't have a fanboy moment, but yeah. Francisco Lindor, pretty cool dude. And no, I wasn't about to rob him or pop upside the head or cost the Braves another season. I wasn't about to do that. Never.
Eddy Kool, I'm gonna do a solid. I'm gonna do good friend of ours a favor, because even though he sucks at answering the question, I'm gonna do it for him. I'm gonna do it for him because I didn't understand why this wasn't a story, why he couldn't just tell this story. But Heath Brady, this is how you tell a story about how you meet somebody. Because I won't go into details, but Heath's son, his name is William Bryce, actually has been dealing with health complications, and I wish him the very best. And he's been doing well and doing great. But he was a recipient of the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And one of the things he really wanted to do, he wanted to meet Jadeveon Clowney. He was he played at South Carolina, University of South Carolina, the Gamecocks, and then he got drafted number 1 by the Houston Texans. And at this time, he was playing with the Houston Texans. And Make-A-Wish Foundation actually granted his wish, and they got a chance to go to Houston NRG Stadium, meet Jadeveon Clowney. Clowney gave him T-shirts, hats, football, all that stuff, spent the entire day with them, and just an overall great experience. And Heath could have told it a lot better than I could have because he was there. But that was the answer. That was we gave you a question. That right there was the answer. And
softball.
But yeah, like that was such an amazing story, and I was just happy to be a witness to it. I saw a lot of the pictures and stuff like that, and a lot of videos that Heath and Alicia and William Bryce, they the whole family got a chance to spend time with Clowney, and that was a real stand-up thing. And I definitely do thank the Make-A-Wish Foundation and stuff like that. And so props go to Heath and his family, and that's how you tell a story. That's how you answer the question. So here you go. You're welcome.
And if you need your windows tinted, go check them out down there in Highway 9, Little River, South Carolina. Heath, yeah.
What's it? HD audio and video?
Yeah, HD audio and video. Go down there and get the hookup. Holla if you're here.
And also, I wanted to pinpoint this as well. This was a Clemson Tiger fan telling the story about the Gamecocks. This is how much I enjoyed that story, because you know me, and at the end of the day, hashtag all roads lead to Dabo, and I'm out. All right, cool. Eddy Kool.
Well, actually, don't all roads lead to Vegas as of late, or Oakland? But anyways,
I mean, yeah, that's sort of a thing. You got Vegas. You also got Arizona. I mean, my boy's still at Houston, so I mean, the roads lead to the NFL.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right, Scottie D, what's the question? If you're
feels silly. I only told one story. I should have told you guys a story about the time I drank with Dabo and spent the night with Doris Burke. But anyway. So here we go. Next week.
Hey.
Again, we're going to ask a personal one. We want you to tell us about your first experience at a live sporting event. Did you go to a game? Did you go to a golf tournament? Or what did you do the first time you ever saw professional sports live? Or you can even give us one, like if you went to a college football game, if that was your college basketball, that was your first experience. But if you can't remember your first, just tell us one of your pleasant experiences from going to see a pro sports event in person. And that's what we're talking about next week.
Wow. Action-packed edition of the Choices of the Voices. Once again, thanks to everybody who participated. I apologize for me telling along with the stories. If it was a classic case of if I told one, then it wouldn't have been right if I didn't tell the other. So, I'm a condensed storyteller. Be Live laughed at the Kool-O-Dex, but it's all good. It's all good. It is all good. So guess what? I'm about out of breath, kind of sort of tired, but guess what though? We got 1 minute left, and give myself to go home cue. We finna get the hell up out of here. We're going to have a round of pepper. You know how we do it. 3 topics, rapid fire style, kind of, sort of. And then the tradition I've been doing for the month of April, I'll continue to do this day in history in the world of sports. And I'll go first. This day in 2011, the NFL draft, the Carolina Panthers select Cam Newton with the first pick. Cam Newton went on to take the Panthers to the Super Bowl, and he's even an NFL MVP. Dab on him.
All right, I'm going to read you something from the LA Times last week, April 22nd. Here from the LA Times. On Wednesday, 3 months after sanctioning the 2017 Houston Astros as cheaters, the league cited the Boston Red Sox for the same offense, the illegal use of technology to steal signs. The only Red Sox employee punished, an advanced scout who doubled as a replay room operator who was suspended for the 2020 season. They also were docked a second-round pick for 2020, and Alex Cora, manager, has a 1-year suspension. That coming from the Houston Astros situation. Commissioner Manfred could not conclude that Boston cheating extended to the 2018 World Series. I'm going to let that one simmer, and that's going to be part of my pepper point number 2 back around the horn. Over to you, B Live.
Oh, God, Rob Manfred. Oh, Jesus.
I'm like, Scottie D, I'm going to let you have that. I wanted to say something, but I ain't going to do it. I'm going to stick to what I have. I got my own little pepper right here. So the NBA, and following suit with everything that's going on with COVID-19, they have unfortunately pushed back its original plan to allow players to re-enter team facilities. They've pushed it back a week. They were scheduled to reopen players going to facilities May 1st, but it is now May 8th, and they'll continue to monitor the COVID-19 situation. We would love to have some type of live sports back. Please, with a sugar on top. Eddy Kool, the ball.
Welcome to Rona Mania 2020. Yeah. All right. This day in history, back in 1993, the New York Islanders defeat the Washington Capitals 4-1 in Game 6 of the playoffs. But there was a memorable moment that happened. Cap center Dale Hunter attacks Pierre Turgeon after he scored the game-winning goal, and it is considered at that time the worst cheap shot in the history of hockey. Dale Hunter was suspended 21 games and fined $150,000. That has since been eclipsed by Tom Bertuzzi's hit to the head of Donald Brashear. And Pierre Turgeon suffered a separated shoulder. Goes to show, kids, it doesn't pay to be cheap.
All right, to continue on what I was I stated in the first part.
Over to you, Scottie D.
The Boston staffer suspended on Wednesday was J.T. Watkins. He used in-game video to decode signs during the 2018 regular season only. The evidence uncovered during the investigation is insufficient to conclude that the conduct went beyond the regular season into the 2018 postseason and the 2019 regular season. So, in conclusion, J.T. Watkins, a video operator, cheated by himself. Not manager Cora, who was suspended for cheating the year before with a different team. Not any of the players. One dude gets suspended. What is it about teams from that part of the country in sports that are cheating and get away with it? Jeff Passan, who is a baseball columnist with ESPN, says that the players would not cooperate with that investigation because they didn't want to go down the same road that the Astros players did. But man, how convenient is it that this story got released like right before the NFL draft, right in the middle of the COVID thing, just kind of getting swept right on under the rug. Commissioner Manfred, I think I might like him less than Roger Goodell. Over to you, B Live.
That's rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt that one less than Roger Goodell. And for the listeners out there, we've done this for quite a while now, and me and Eddy Kool have learned the utter disdain that Scottie D has for Roger Goodell, and for him to say that,
head up, head.
Yeah. So
the head knucklehead in charge.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. So check this out. The NFL draft has been completed. But the only way to complete the NFL draft is with the last pick, which is dubbed Mr. Irrelevant. And Mr. Irrelevant for the year of 2020 goes to the New York Giants and hails from the University of Georgia linebacker Tay Crowder. There you go, Mr. Irrelevant. I don't know anything about him. Do you? Eddy Kool, the ball.
You give me the ball and Tay who? All right. Third and final pepper point. This day in history in 1985, the New York Yankees named Billy Martin their manager for the fourth time. And if you know your history, you know Billy Martin is a pretty colorful character. I think, if I'm not mistaken, there's a video floating around either the WWE Network or on YouTube of Mean Gene Oakland conducting an interview with Billy Martin, and he was blasted out of his mind. But it always makes for good TV. So shout out, rest in peace to Billy Ball himself, number one, Billy Martin, four-time manager. I don't know who has.
All right. Also, last week,
him or Marty
after
Rob
Gronkowski came back, Muffet McGraw retired. Muffet McGraw, the head coach of the Notre Dame women's basketball team, after 33 seasons and 2 titles, she called it a career. I just want to say congrats, and you will be missed. You will be missed because I missed the first 33 years of her career, so I just didn't see enough of her to watch her coach. Wow. But congratulations on that career, Muffet McGraw.
Wow. All right. Yes. Much props to her and the way that
I love
D
my women's college
that.
basketball. You know I do.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. But yeah. All right. Yeah, I know. We've noticed. We've very much noticed. Yeah.
Ooh.
All right, my third and final pep point. We're gonna take it on home. I gotta continue this ritual that I've been doing, and I'm taking it back to NASCAR and the iRacing Invitational. You gotta love it. It's something that we can watch. Did I actually watch it this week? No, I didn't. I Googled it. I got the answer. But I gotta give a quick shout out to Alex Bowman surviving overtime for his first win in the eNASCAR iRacing Invitational. And this race was held at virtual Talladega Nights. If you're not first, you're last. Gotta love it.
He made another left turn.
Sweet. Yes, sir.
And is that it for Pepper? We good to go? We all done?
That's it.
All right, that was another exciting edition of Pepper. Informative, entertaining, and just plain talking sports as we usually do. And that about does it for another action-packed episode of the Sports Bros podcast. I think it was a great episode. Listeners, if you enjoy it, please let us know. Rate, review, tell your friends, subscribe. Go get an RSS feed. If you want to toss us a couple dollars, we might have some instructions to assist you on how to do that, because all the money is not going to our pockets yet, and still is going to production. That way we can get better equipment to give you some more stuff, to have more fun, and pay the light bill and do all this other fun stuff in order to keep this podcast that you love up and running. I'm going to go out of turn, and you can find me, Eddy Kool, on Facebook, because I'm still waiting to go back to work. I'm okay, though. I'm okay. You can check me out on Eddy Kool at Facebook. Kool Season, all one word, on Instagram. BeLive will give you all of the Sports Bros platforms to reach us on. Let's see. For me, that's Super Cool 5000. That's if you're on the Snapchat, all one word. And yeah,
you can find me on my parents' couch. That's where I've been hanging out here.
Scottie D, where can they find you?
Up in Western Pennsylvania, where wintertime lasts until middle of June. You can find me on Facebook. And I just wanted to mention that the Cowboys selected CeeDee Lamb in the first round of the NFL draft. BeLive, over to you.
Wow. All right. And I'm gonna give a quick shout out to Scottie D, one of the places that he frequents. Boys, I do believe, has opened back up for business. They're doing the social distancing there, but I definitely want to give a shout out to them and what they've been able to do for the community and everything. Please go out and support them. When it comes to the Sports Bros
Yes,
podcast,
sir.
your boy Be Live, I'm about to give you all of the information that we have. Yes, shut up. Our social media platforms. You can check us out on our Facebook like page. You can check us out on Instagram. Instagram will be Sports Bros Podcast. Twitter will be Sports Bros PCast. Check us out on YouTube, our YouTube channel, Sports Bros Podcast. Look us up. Check out our newest episodes on YouTube as well. Some of our little snippets there. Also, if you have any questions, comments about the show, you want to ask about how possibly to get on the show or be a part of Choice of the Voices, you can shoot us via email at sportsbrospcast@gmail.com. As for me personally, this be your boy, the almighty one, Brian Livingston. There's your government right there for people looking me up on Facebook, on Instagram and Twitter. Is this be your boy, Be Live? No I at the beginning. THSBEYABOYBLIVE. That's all the info. Check out our WordPress website as well, sportsrospodcast.wordpress.com. We're going to update with a couple of cool sports stories that we enjoy as well. We are steadily trying to grow. Thank you to all of the likes and followers of our Facebook page. We're up to 915 likes. Definitely greatly appreciate all the interaction. We here the Sports Bros. We love you. Welcome to the family. Yes, sir.
All right, and before we leave, a little quick something I just found earlier in the show. Son of former WCW star Rick Steiner, he signs a deal with the Baltimore Ravens. That's right, the dog-faced Gremlin's son, Bronson Rex Steiner, real government name. He got signed as a running back fullback from Kennesaw State University. This past season, he had 111 rush attempts, 924 yards, and 7 touchdowns. So that boy might be pretty doggone good. I mean, look at his father and his uncle. But we digress.
Kennesaw State. My nephew goes there. Nice.
Yeah. What are they, the Owls?
I couldn't tell you all that. You're asking too much. You put me on the spot.
Hey, but you know what? Hey, good for them. Good for them. So shout out to Bronson Rex Steiner.
Yes, they are the Owls.
Yes, the Owls. I lived there for a few years, so I should have known. All right, guys, got anything else you want to say before we get out of here?
I look forward to sharing you next week whenever I tell
I'm
you
good.
about the
Go ahead,
bowlers
Scott.
that I
Say
met
something else smart.
while in Myrtle Beach. We'll give you something to look forward to, a teaser.
All right, and with that being said, in closing, do something nice for yourself, and if you can, do something nice for someone else. They'll greatly appreciate it now more than ever. Stay safe. Practice social distancing. If you ain't got to leave the house, don't leave the house. Mask on, mask off. Well, anyways, take care of yourself. This has been another episode of the Sports Bros Podcast.